Hi, and welcome to today's Fpwebinar. My name is Trevor Jones. I'm a developer here at Fpweb.net.
I'm Michael Eppenberger, another developer here at Fpweb.net.
And we're here to talk to you today about the Managed Developer Service. Now, I just want to start by saying that we are going to be answering questions at the end of the webinar, and you can formulate them now and throughout the webinar. And we're also going to be providing a $50 gift card to a lucky winner. So anyway, though, let's get into this. So the first thing that we want to talk about is we want to answer a question. The question is, how do companies reach their development goals?
Traditionally, you have either a full-time employee or you can hire a freelancer contract developer kind of based on a project's needs. And there's pros and cons that come with both.
Exactly. So, we're gonna just talk about that for a little bit, just to further go into the pros and cons for the full-time employee and the freelance. So, pros for a full-time employee. Obviously they have better understanding of the client environment. They work there every single day, usually 40 hours per week, and they can create complicated and diverse, robust programs for you. There's a couple cons though. It's very high cost. Software developers, their average salary from salary.com is at $147,000, and you would receive expertise from them that would help you build your programs out. But as soon as they work for you for like a year, maybe 2 years, since so much demand for their work, that they're going to leave for the highest bidder, basically right away. So do you want to go into about freelance?
Yeah, on the other hand, a freelance developer is somebody who you can hire pretty quickly and hire for a specific project. They don't really know much about your environment, and you can have trouble coordinating work with them and maybe not get exactly the kind of sleek application that you're looking for. Payments by the hour, and so it can fluctuate a lot depending on the skill level of the developer that you're able to hire.
Yeah, and like that cost can range from $100 an hour to $500 an hour. It depends on the experience that the developer has and what they can bring to your environment. So essentially, a con that both of these have is that they're ridiculously expensive. So that brings us to our third point, and what we're going to be talking about today is that there's actually another option, and that is the Managed Developer Service. So, what I like to think of with the Managed Developer is that it essentially shirks a lot of the cons involved while still having a lot of the pros. To reiterate, with the Managed Developer, it's similar to the full-time employee because we create relationships with our clients. Beyond what freelancers could do. We have a more in-depth understanding of your environment, and you also get project managers, support engineers, infrastructure teams that are designed to help accomplish your development goals with efficiency.
And it also allows us to find the best possible solution in the lowest amount of time. By using a Managed Developer Service, you can actually get your project going quickly, a lot faster than you would if you were trying to hire a full-time employee.
Yeah, and regarding the cost, compared to the other two, the Managed Developer Service is certainly the cheapest of the three options that you have. To go further into it, as managed developers, we are subject matter experts. We're able to develop as needed with a wide range of employees that can split time on a project to provide a wider range of expertise than a single employee could. We also give you roughly the same response time as a full-time employee. So while you're outsourcing us, we still give you some of the pros that are involved with having a full-time developer on your payroll.
As opposed to other outsourced developers who just are there to work on a single project and don't really build a relationship. And to reiterate, because we're working with you over a longer period of time, we have a unique understanding of your work environment and know your development goals and work closer with you to ensure your deadlines are met and that you're happy with your service.
Yeah, and on top of that, we can fill that need very quickly. You know, should something happen, should you have a developer on your payroll and something happens, they get picked up by another company or they leave your company for one reason or another, you could essentially sign up as managed developer service, and we can get on that problem immediately. Yeah. So we've talked about comparing these options, but what exactly is a managed developer? Like, what do they do?
I mean, the bottom line is we write the programs for you. We write code for you, and the goal is to provide a development solution for a problem that you're facing. Uh, each client is a unique case with different development goals, and we have developers in place to build whatever application that you need to achieve your goals.
Exactly. And that's kind of the thing with development. So depending on your business, depending on what you need, can change your situation dramatically. You know, you might be a business that is in need of having a brand new web application that is relatively complex, that might take a year or so to create, or you might just need a number of customized web parts for your SharePoint site. Depending on what you need, we will talk to you about those needs and try to fulfill everything.
It really all comes down to user experience, and any development project is about making it easier for you to complete your work. And anytime that you need to complete work more efficiently, we're going to be talking about user experience, whether it's front-facing web page or an internal SharePoint intranet, or even an in-depth web-based application. If the user experience isn't good, then you're going to lose efficiency and it just won't work very well for your company.
Yeah, and to go more into that, so yeah, exactly. User experience is incredibly important, which also brings into branding. So, you know, you may think, yes, obviously brands are important, but it's more involved than that. You know, a website is more than just some website. It's an opportunity to connect with your target audience. Decent branding increases the value of your company. It provides direction for your employees. It motivates them to work more diligently. And that's all on top of making acquisition of new customers a much easier process. So obviously understanding your branding and utilizing it efficiently will make a huge difference for your business. And we as a managed developer service can provide that option. So, you know, making sure that it's universal, that it goes through your intranet, your extranet, your applications. You know, you want your users to know where they are. You want them to know, you know, what exactly they need. And in today's world, they want to know it really quickly. So, you know, if you have a customer that is confused, it could only be like 10 seconds. And if they can't find their way around, they'll just leave and you'll lose the potential to have a sale. So obviously user experience is, you know, it's critical. And they kind of go hand in hand. You know, like you have developers that will code, but then you have developers that'll design as well. And that's what we do. Yeah, from there, we can go into custom code if you want to go more into that, Michael.
Yeah, any development work is going to require some sort of custom code. This allows you to have a unique look, feel, and function to your sites and applications. For example, we had a client who had a development problem while attempting to migrate from SharePoint 2010 to 2013. They used custom code to modify a web part, but after the transfer, the script was deprecated and the web part no longer worked. So we actually went in, installed a new script that solved the issue, and reinstated their customized web part.
Yeah, and so that's another thing that we want to talk about. So there are people that have older programs. They've customized their content already from SharePoint 2010, maybe it's 2013 to 2016. The thing is that it's constantly updating. And, you know, a service that we provide is that we can essentially go in and make sure that everything is up to date and that everything keeps working the way that you need it to. Otherwise, everything that you potentially could have paid money for is broken. So, you know, when customizing code relating to SharePoint web parts, if we want to get more into SharePoint, it's almost always connected to a user experience issue. SharePoint is a robust platform. It allows businesses a host of options to help organize and solve their problems, but it's incredibly difficult to traverse and use correctly. So, you know, being able to customize those web parts so that it fits better to your business is incredibly important. It will save you tons of time. It'll be incredibly efficient.
And it all really starts with creating master pages and page layouts that allow you to expand your site really easily while keeping your branding in place and making sure that your global navigation is sleek and intuitive to the user.
Exactly. And going more into that, so talking about global navigation, um, this kind of goes back to what we were saying, that it's all about understanding exactly what your business needs. You know, like what navigation system is best for your business. Is it simply a very robust and intricate search engine? So, you know, when a user goes to the search bar, they can type in whatever they want, they get exactly what they want. Or, you know, does your business need just a more complicated navigation that is organized by subject matter or something along those lines? So depending on what your business is and what you need, I mean, either could be an option, but sometimes one is better than the other. So it's important to understand that going forward.
And at its core, SharePoint can be very simply a document repository, but you're faced with the issue of trying to navigate through a maze of folders looking for the document you need to work on.
Exactly.
With good global navigation and user experience design, you can create a SharePoint site that's easy to use and find whatever pertinent document you need without having to try and traverse all these different folders looking for it and wasting time.
Exactly. I mean, you can spend 20 minutes trying to find something where if you have a customized web part, it might take you 20 seconds. So I think that's a key thing to talk about. So yeah, as developers, we can access these web parts, and through code, we can build them out to a point to allow the effective business maximum efficiency and productivity when using SharePoint.
One of the ways that we can do this, for example, we had a customer who had a fairly large document list of over 1,000 documents, and they wanted to be able to filter their search based on a specific list property, for example, a date, the date modified. So we were able to create a custom filter to narrow down the results based on that date modified item property.
Which is incredible. So, and that's just, you know, regular stuff that we do. Moving forward, so, you know, these programs, these projects are pretty diverse, and, you know, it comes down to, once again, what the business needs. So depending on the app, depending on the program, we use lots of different languages. So, you know, what exactly do we build in? We use C#, we use HTML and CSS, JavaScript, Java, PHP, Ruby, and SQL. So essentially, you know, you have your robust programming languages like Java and C#. You have your database languages such as Ruby and SQL, and then you have your front-facing websites as well as front-end development with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, So when we create these development solutions, we use these languages, and we tend to be picking more and more up as we go. And that can be in regards to a custom SharePoint web part or a fully integrated web application, you know, whatever is on the table.
And development is really a continuous problem that needs constant work. And whatever language we use is really going to be based on your needs. But part of our job is to stay up to date on the latest technologies so that whenever a browser is updated, we already know what we need to do to keep your website up to date or to keep your web application up to date. If you go somewhere else to try and get this service, they can just flip the switch and let it run, but then where do you turn to when it needs maintenance? Because eventually it's going to fall out of date and need work.
Exactly, and I think that's a pretty common misconception. I think in most of my experiences regarding with web development projects that I've worked on, most of the time the client just wants the product. You know, like that's usually the bottom line is, hey, we need a website, or hey, we need an application, build it for us, please. So we build it out for them, and then they treat it like a car. It's like they get it, and then they just have it, you know, and that's all there is to it. We lose all of our connection to it. In a managed developer service, we try not to do that. We like to try and stay up to date. You know, we continue to customize if things change. I mean, the thing is, year by year, I mean, design trends are constantly changing. Technology is constantly changing. There are new and more efficient web development programs that are continuing to come out, as well as programming languages even. So, you know, it's continuing as more and more people get into tech and more people use the internet. It is just going to get bigger and bigger, exponentially. So we believe that, you know, once you're involved with the managed developer service and you get a taste of what exactly we can do for your business, you're not going to want to leave after one product. Essentially, you're going to want to keep it up to date. You're going to want new products that can make your business even better. You're going to want more web parts or more applications, and we can do all these things for you. I mean, this is really what we do. You're going to want development to keep a handle on it and keep it all up to date.
And this also ends up creating security issues for your applications. And cybersecurity is becoming more and more of an issue today than it ever was before. You see it constantly in the news. It's always making headlines. And actually, that's going to be the topic of our webinar next week, Managed Security Services.
Exactly. So once again, you know, if you get your website and we just let it go, I mean, that essentially makes it a target, and it can very easily be hacked. Now, granted, there are some security issues that you can do, but if you sign up for our webinar next week, you'll get to really understand what we as a service can do for you as far as security is concerned. So why would you want to use Fpweb's Managed Developer Service as opposed to other managed developer services?
Rather than simply having a developer to manage your applications, we offer a range of services based on your needs, including development, support, hosting, admin, and database management services.
Yeah, so to go into that, when you sign up for Fpweb.net's Managed Developer Service, you're not just getting a developer. You're getting an admin, you're getting a database, you're getting support. So essentially everything that you need on a tech platform, you have all wrapped up into one. You just so happen to also have a developer that's able to build out your applications and programs. So essentially, you're fulfilling almost all of your needs at once, which in my mind is pretty great.
And on top of that, we've been working in this field for over 20 years supporting Microsoft products and hosting client servers. We have a lot of expertise to bring to the table and a lot of ways that we can help you as clients.
Yeah, I think that's about as long as the internet has been a thing. So that's pretty awesome. You know, we always have someone on the other end of the phone if you need support. So you're going to be talking to an actual person. You're not going to be talking to an automated service. Client calls are handled by people, and we are stationed in the United States in St. Louis, Missouri. So I think that's also an important thing to mention, that we are United States based. You're going to be speaking with someone who is an English speaking native. And that way we can come closer to an understanding of everything that we need to make for you so that we can help you get to where you need to go.
If you're interested in our product, you can contact us at sales@fpweb.net or at 866-780-4678. Feel free to give us a call so we can create a unique needs analysis and see if we're a good fit for you.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty great. So now we're going into the questions and answers. So could you provide another example of a custom solution that as a managed developer?
Yeah, so we had a customer with a custom developed web part that was used to send out emails automatically, and they wanted to be able to send it in 2 languages at the same time, in this case German and English, rather than just English. So while SharePoint allows users to customize the site and choose a language for themselves, it's a lot harder to change the email template because these are actually housed in an XSLT file in some cases, and you can't just copy and paste in a new translation. You need to actually understand the language to insert it into the file. So we had to go in and modify these files in order to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another misconception that I've found in my experience as a developer, is that people assume that it's a really quick fix, that it's just, oh, just push a button, pull a switch, and you're good. It's not the case. It's usually much more complicated than that. But we're happy to work through those complications because this is what we do, and we love to do it. So anyway, though,
So next question: what is the cost of Fpweb's managed developer service?
All right, so we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Fpweb's managed developer service costs $12,495 per month, and that price is considering a full 40-hour FTE workload per week, along with the workload of a managed admin and a managed database. So to make a comparison there, the average salary of a software engineer, we said this earlier, was roughly $147,000 per year based from salary.com, and freelance rates can go anywhere from $100 to $300 per hour, sometimes $500 depending on what you're working in. So considering those two options are really the only other two options you have when dealing with a development project, this seems you will be saving roughly double the amount that you would have to pay depending on your situation. So yeah, that's our cost. So this question says, how long does a development project usually take you?
So the thing about development projects is they're all unique and different, and that's why we have a team of developers and project managers that will work with you to figure out exactly what your project's going to entail, and start a conversation about the correct solution and the correct technologies to the problem you may be experiencing. So while some clients may need to fully integrate like a web application, that might take longer than just updating some web parts to enhance user experience and promote your brand.
So yeah, so to jump off that, this goes back to what we were saying earlier in the webinar, is that it all comes down to your personal situation, what your business is dealing with, and what are the needs that your business has, and that changes depending on what it is. And we are happy to have the conversation to figure out how to help that business reach its goals, no matter what they are. We're always open to talk. So now we're going to be talking a little bit about third-party SharePoint web parts. So what about integrating those web parts?
So anytime you need to integrate an application into your site, you need to know how data sources, permissions, file locations, how everything fits together, and where they are in your environment. Since we already have a relationship with you, all these things would be set up and we'd have it documented. And as a managed developer, we'd be able to better integrate any third-party web parts that you might need.
Exactly. So we've already built your entire environment. If you're working with us, we've built it all. So yes, we should be able to easily integrate third-party web parts. Shouldn't be much of a problem.
So next question, how many hours do I get?
So this managed developer service from Fpweb is a subscription, and it puts our team on retainer. So you don't have to buy extra hours or anything like that, but our project times and deadlines are based on a 40-hour work week load. So when we have our meeting and we talk about what exactly you need, that's when we're going to be having our conversation of how long these things might take. And depending on the vastness of the program, depending on how robust you want it, depending on how complicated it may be, what services you want to provide, well, that'll probably change how long that it will take. But that's pretty common across the board, no matter what development projects are. So we're going to be wrapping this up here. If there's any questions that we missed, we'll be sending emails out to you shortly. But we're going to be sending out a recording of this webinar along with a link to register for the next webinar about Managed Security Service, Tuesday, April 11th at 1 p.m. Central. And now we're going to announce the winner of the $50 Amazon gift card. It is Roberto Rodriguez. You are now in possession of a $50 Amazon gift card. So congratulations, man. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you around. This is Fpweb.net signing off.